Hey guys, give me 1 minute just getting everything set up here. Hope you all are doing well today. All right. Okay, everybody, this is Josh with WA Production here for another week of our track feedback sessions. Thank you for joining us. It is Sunday, June 7th here in California. Wherever you are in the world, welcome back. Thanks for joining us today. Looking forward to another batch of great tracks here. Last week was another awesome week. Checking everything out, listening, and enjoying every time. Hope you guys are all safe and healthy and happy everywhere where that you are. Thank you for joining us on the chat. I will be checking out all of your submissions, as many as possible. Not all of them, probably. Who knows? They need to come in through our Discord to the live stream feedback channel. All right, that is the only place that they can go. Otherwise, I will not see them or hear them. I'm going to try and keep in the loop on the YouTube chat, but I can't be 10 places at once, so I'm going to do my best. But we prefer SoundCloud links. Those are the easiest for us. If it's on Dropbox or something like that, I'll do my best, but no videos, no YouTube videos. Those take too long to buffer. 1 p.m. in Mexico. What's up, Celaya? It is 11 a.m. where I am, but I'm pretty close to Mexico, just a different part of Mexico. Hello from the UK, full octave. What's up? It is, man, it's got to be pretty late evening there, I think, right? Stocks, yes, you can submit a track. Sorry, I know that's a late response to what you were asking, but yes, there. As soon as the feedback channel is open, you can submit tracks. We usually open it a couple minutes before the feedback stream begins. So here we go. Let's take a look. I'm gonna start clicking some of these and see where we can go and see how many we can do. So let's have a listen. Seeing some new names here. That's great. Okay. Hello from Poland. What's up? Miami. Look, everywhere. All over the world. So we're going to start this week off with a familiar name, Math Ferris, Hacker Original Mix for the Blaster Jacks contest. Fun fact, I actually opened for Blaster Jacks many years ago. All right, let's check it out. Wow. All right. That was a great start to our week here. Nice job. I really enjoyed that one. Super banging track there. Um, I don't have much to say about the track itself. It's well produced. Uh, the composition is great. The arrangement and structure of the track are great. Um, I think my main thing I would say is that it kind of sounds um, like a lower quality version in terms of the actual export. I'm not sure if what exactly would be causing that. I know it's SoundCloud. We're not going to be hearing lossless waves or anything like that, but it kind of sounded like it was like a ripped version or something. So maybe just double check that it's sounding the way you want it to when you export it, like it's sounding as good as it did in the DAW. If it's not, I would check your export settings because it just kind of sounded like a bit, um, lost, like some artifacts and stuff like that in the mix. If it is sounding exactly like this in the DAW, then that it becomes a bit of a mixing question. I don't know if there was some over compression or something done in the mix and master. But I can't quite put my finger on it. It just kind of sounds like it might have been ripped from YouTube or something like that. So like it's just make sure that you're exporting it to sound as good as possible. Again, maybe all of this, maybe it's on purpose or something. I don't know, but just make sure do a little research to make sure that all the settings in your export are correct. But other than that, I mean, I really don't have much to say. I think maybe the only thing I would say is like just a bit more originality. Make it sound different to all the tracks that we've heard in Big Room and Electro House over the years. But really, that's not a comment necessarily on this track. It's just for the next one. So anyway, great job though. Great start. Okay, we've got Scars by Rim City. Let's check that out. Cool. All right. Yeah. So the song is good. Everything is melodically good. The progression's nice. The vocals they sound pretty good, although a little bit repetitive, I would say. But the main thing here is the mix. It's quite muddy. I think the first thing you need to do is just use an EQ on everything, essentially. Don't overdo it, but pretty much cut out or lower anything that doesn't need to be there. So you have a lot of instruments that have unnecessary low and low mid frequency information, especially those chords and the little melodic lead things that are on the drop and everything like that. There's just a lot of stuff that does not need lower frequency information in there. So just high pass it, or at least reduce those areas, and that'll go a long way into making your mix sound a lot cleaner. Really, in those drops and in the verses and stuff, the only things that should have information below like 250 hertz are your bass and maybe a bit of the chords, but not a lot. And so, just try and listen and listen to some tracks that are in a similar genre, and maybe even throw them in your DAW, and you can take a look at the, like, with a spectrum analyzer, and just see, wow, okay, compare your two tracks, your song and their song together, and just see, okay, yeah, clearly I have a lot more in the low mid area than they do, and just try and help with that. So yeah, I mean, just gain staging helps with that as well, like bringing in different elements one at a time, and just seeing where things start to fade away and get muddy, and you can start to cut out one at a time. So I hope that helps. But yeah, great job. Once it's mixed well, I think it's gonna be a great song. All right, Kill 'Em All by Salaya, who I think is in Mexico, I think he said. All right, thanks. Nice job. Cool. Muy bien. Um, so, yeah, I mean, it sounds really good. It's really bouncy and fun, and definitely makes you want to dance. I think just a couple of things that would make it, you know, even better. Firstly, I really like that main, uh, percussive sound that is playing throughout the whole song. Um, One thing I would note is that it's a little harsh, so I don't know if I might fine tune that a little bit, EQ out a little bit of the highs or something like that. Secondly, it is playing throughout pretty much the entire song. So I think it would be cool if you had a little bit more call and response and some juxtaposition of playing maybe that same note but with a different instrument, or like filtering it, to every once in a while to just make it sound different or something like that. I think would be cool. And then my last point would be, I feel like this song could be a minute shorter. It's 4 minutes and 12 seconds. That's pretty long in the Spotify, Apple Music era. And it, by the end of it, especially, and it's quite repetitive, which is fine. It's a good thing for this genre. It's how it's supposed to be. But by around 3.5 minutes, you kind of feel like, okay, I'm ready for this to be over. So, I for the next one, obviously this looks like it's already been, released and all of that. But for the next one, just you don't need something to keep going after it's been long enough and the idea is complete. And so, I would consider maybe stopping it around here, 3 minutes or so, and just keeping the listener engaged throughout the whole song. So, but really good job production wise. I mean, you're clearly very good at producing. Melodically, it's great. And yeah, keep it up. I'm really happy with this one. Okay, we've got Makos and How Win will be come back, I think. Sorry, I probably totally ruined that, but let's check it out.
Be with me.
Wow, that was awesome. Nice job. Man, that was really good. I'm a big fan of future bass, and that was sick. Um, I'm not going to, I always say the same positive comments for everybody because those are the most important things. But, the chords are great and lush and really nice. Really enjoyed that. My couple of negative, I guess, constructive criticism points would be just in a couple of areas. There seems to be a little too much going on, or some stuff that just sort of drags on a little too much. Right here, I believe, there's like some synthy kind of string sounds that just kind of overlap over each other too much. They've got a really long reverb tail or release, and oops, and it just makes it so that like one note kind of bleeds into the next. And so I would just tighten that up. It's not even necessarily like something you need to take out or anything, but just make it so that the note, like one note isn't kind of playing on top of the previous note. It just kind of makes it sound a bit muddy and hard to follow. And then kind of a similar thing in this last drop. I like that you changed it up, but there just kind of sounds like a little too much going on in certain parts, and it kind of takes away from that main melody. So I would just simplify a little bit. But other than that, I mean, I think one of the coolest things that you did here is just the level of detail work, which is always, for me, the most boring, difficult part, but it really sets tracks apart. And so all the different panning you did with different fills and really cool sound effects and all of that, it sounds awesome. So really, really good job. All right, now we got Hope by Chris DeCaro. Let's check it out. Okay, good work. It's a really nice melody, lovely progression, and an enjoyable sound for sure. So here are my points. To me, it sounds like the beginning of a really good song. So I think that you kind of, if this is already released, I think you kind of stopped before you should have. Basically, it sounds basically like kind of a structure, and then, hey, I'm going to go back to that and just make it a bit more interesting and full and all of this. Firstly, like the chords, for example, I can hear the sound you're going for. That's why I'm saying it sounds like something that's like a little earlier on in the production phase. They just aren't that full. It sounds like a lot of the things here are like one instrument and that's it. For example, the synth for the chords. And so, not saying you always have to layer multiple different instruments, but that needs more high-end information. It needs more bass information. It just needs to be more impactful. In addition, the piano kind of sounds like a stock piano. Everything is mixed quite well, actually, but it needs to sound a bit more unique, whether that's done through layering different piano sounds or just using a different one altogether or adding some effects and processing to it. And the chord progression is good, but the actual rhythm of the chords and everything are quite predictable and simple. It's just repetitive playing just on the beat perfectly. Again, that's kind of like how I might start a track, is coming up with a simple progression like that, but then going back and moving things around, chopping them up a little bit more, making it a bit more interesting, because it just kind of it sounds just a little basic when you just have it simple like that. So I don't know if you're done with this song or whatever, but I think that I would go back and just really make it so that every 4 bars and 8 bars is just super interesting. And what I might do with a song like this is go back and just loop 4 bars or 8 bars and just like make it super, make that 4-8 bars really awesome, and then move on to the next 4-8 bars. It just kind of sounds like you're about halfway rather than having a completely finished idea here. So I hope that that's helpful. I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but it's a really great start, and you clearly are good with music, and the production is really, really well done. So nice job. Okay, moving on. Where did we stop? Okay, here. So I'm not going just in order today, but I'm going to do the next few in order and see where we go. All right. Zendarian, I think. I don't know. You can tell me if I said that wrong. Sorry if I did. It's not easy, all these interesting names. Oi mate, it's just a drop. Oh wow, all right, we got just a drop. Going hard for a minute. Let's go. Right. Haven't listened to just a rhythm drop for a while, but that was cool. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a work in progress. I'm not going to go on about a bunch of stuff that you already know, but the one thing I would say with this is that it does sound quite narrow. Not narrow really. I mean, it's full, but I would pan some things, like those little effects and fills and stuff like that, just to like oh, what's over there, a little to the left, to the right, stuff like that, make it a little bit more all encompassing. But yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot to say. It's really good. I mean, it's hard to give you a full feedback with just a drop and not having a build to compare it to, or a verse or whatever. So yeah, keep working on it, and then submit it again once you have a fleshed out track. Just don't be so stoked on the drop that you don't work hard on the rest of the song, because you can have a great drop, but the rest of the song needs to be just as good. So keep up the good work. All right. So I was absolutely obsessed with this song in high school, the original version, Dragostea Dinte, however you're supposed to say it. So that's a long time ago, but let's hear how this sounds from Rianu. Wow. Okay. Well, I think the biggest compliment I can give you is that I really enjoyed that, and being such a big fan of the original song, I think that's a pretty big compliment. So, a lot of times it's hard to live up to the quality of the original because when you're making a remix and stuff like that. So nice job. Really like that. Really, the only stuff is mix wise. The everything production wise and composition wise is great. It keeps you engaged. It feels new, but it gives good homage to the original. Feels modern. Um, what I would say is that things are a bit muddy. There's a number of elements that, similar to how I said for somebody else earlier, that you could EQ. For example, the piano, yes, you want it to be thick and full, but it doesn't need all of that low end. So I would EQ that a bit, and then also the reverb, I think, that's on the piano and some other elements also could probably be high passed. I think that that's where a lot of times people don't remember or realize, like, oh yeah, all my reverb that is on these elements that have low end energy is also reverbing that low end energy, and then kind of putting this whole sheen of mud on everything. So your reverb doesn't need to have that low end, so I would EQ that, throw a high pass on it. Really, that's it. That's all I would focus on, is just the mix, making everything sound clean and crisp. Some of your bass in the drop, it just kind of gets a little lost. I think you want it to be a bit more plucky, which means a little bit more transient, a little bit more high end, a little less low end, or at least low mid muddiness. So, but that'll also help if you get some other stuff out of the way of it with EQ and things like that. So just focus on that and fine tuning the mix. And then the vocal, I think, could be a bit more in front, maybe a bit wider. You can do some cool stuff to make it more of a focus in the track, because it just sounds a little bit behind and a little thinner than it could be. So just make that, because that's, as much as the rest of the track is awesome, that's your lead. I mean, that vocal is what's going to bring people in. So great job, though. I really love that. I would totally listen to that on my own. Okay, Off Slide and Sergei Yarrow, Young and in Love.
If I could take a photograph of this moment, if I could capture how we feel on a canvas, there is no way that we'll be happy
Yeah, that was really great. The piano's beautiful. The chords are big and lush and really impactful. So as somebody said in the comments, it is. I think it's the master really that needs the most help. The For example, this right here, you've got some drums and stuff, and it's the verse, but it's so much lower than your drop, and so what I would do, you don't want to just throw a limiter on it and crush the limiter until this is the same as this, because what that'll do is that'll way over compress your drops, which are already loud-ish. So I would go in and listen back and forth between your drop and your verse, and push up everything in the verses and in the other sections in gain, or volume, wherever you want to do it. Probably volume in the track volume. Um, Push those up until everything is around the same. Obviously the drop needs to be the heaviest, but like it doesn't necessarily need to be louder than the rest of the song. It just feels louder because it's so much heavier. It's got more going on, more full instruments. So push all that up and then limit. You still have room to limit. I mean, if you're looking over here, in the drops, it's not a sausage. And so, I mean, I'm not saying it has to be like a dubstep, everything is just to the max. You still want to have some dynamic range because that's nice. That is a good part of your track because you have the very quiet, soft piano. But, I did, for example, compared to the last song, I had to turn up the volume on my headphones to hear this really well. So that would be my main thing. Other than that, there's just a few things, like, for example, the vocal chop, I think actually is a little too loud maybe. That might be helped with a little bit more limiting. It might push things down a bit, but just, maybe a little bit, making sure everything is the right volume and where it should be. But really great job, though. The song itself is awesome. And the vocal's really nice, too. Whoever, I assume that's Sergei Yarrow. Very good. Okay, vocal is scuffed, but it is getting replaced. I don't really know what that means, but I assume this is not the final vocal then. Raynex, let's check it out.
We're riding down the boulevard. We're riding through the dark night. With half a tank and empty heart. Pretending we're in love, but it's never enough. Nah, as the silence fill the lonely air. Oh, how did we get here now, babe? We see a storm is closing in. Pretending we scared. Don't say a word while we dance with the devil. You brought fire to a world so cold. We're out of time on the highway to never. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Don't say a word while we dance with the devil. You brought fire to a world so cold. We're out of time on the highway to never. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Don't say a word while we dance with the devil. You brought fire so cold, so cold. We're out of time on the highway to never. Hold on, hold on.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know exactly what you mean by scuffed. I don't know if it means you're going to replace it with another version of the same vocal, or if you're going to replace it with totally new lyrics and stuff. But, obviously I love the original song. The vocal does sound pretty cool, but obviously, it's taken from that song. But the song, your instrumental is quite good. Obviously this is a work in progress. I like that bass sound over here. And then when it comes in the drop, it sounds pretty clean. A little bit of mix issues, but it's obviously a work in progress. I think it gets a little busy towards the end. I actually like that cool pluck lead sound that comes in, but then I think, maybe once you replace the vocal, it'll be better. Because it kind of, the vocal is a little bit off in terms of the rhythm and the melody of that, so it just kind of sounds clashing a little bit, but I do like it. I mean, it sounds great, and there's not much more I can say since it's such a work in progress, but keep it up and it's a great start for sure. Okay, trying a new genre from Stocks. Jumping around in the Discord here. Sorry to anybody I'm skipping today, but there's never enough time for all of you, unfortunately. So, all right, let's check it out.
Just gotta check. Look at that, look at it pick. Mama gotta earn. It's just like you never learn. Things on my mind. I'm freaking all night. Always on the grind. Look at me now. The chain, my vest, my watch, my belts, my cheese, my house, my sneakers, my blouse. I just party hard. Hoping no one in the chart. I've already won. Look at me now. The chain, my vest, my watch, my belts, my cheese. My house, my sneakers, my blouse. I just party hard. Hoping no one in the stars. I'm already won. Look at me now.
Nice, cool. Some heavy sounds in there. My main thing would be, that main, I don't know, horn synth kind of sound. Bump, 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 bump. That it sounds very major key. Not to quote our friend DJ Khaled, but and then the drop is very like angry minor kind of sounding, and so I feel like I wanted that main melody in the outside of the drop to be more melancholy, not just this kind of like, I don't know, happy sounding thing. I think that would help make it sound more cohesive with the rest of the track. And then yeah, I mean those sounds are heavy, but like they need some help in terms of getting them to sit well and to really fill up. When you're using those like crazy sounds, you need them to really fill up a lot of the spectrum, and so adding some saturation and width and stuff like that I think will help. And then for this kind of a genre, having some silence will help, I think, giving it more impact when these crazy sounds come in. With that bass in the drop, it kind of just sustains for quite a while. I think if you added some more rhythm to it and took it out sooner, like right before something else comes in and stuff, I think it would be a more interesting drop and make it, that really like, oh damn, that like, reaction when things drop in. So I would definitely just keep working on the details here. Nice job. Okay, Audio Fighters, It Ain't Right. Let's check it out.
You're gonna say what's in my head, filling my mind with these images, and it's the way that you look at me, makes me feel like I can't breathe. Right, it ain't right, it ain't right. Oh no, it ain't right, it ain't right, it ain't right. Oh no.
Cool. The that lead, I love that hard style sound, really nice. The melody's great, the build's nice, the vocal's pretty cool, although I feel like maybe it could be a little bit more interesting and processed so that it's a bit wider, a bit bigger, giving it that really, I mean, hard style, you're at a festival and it's like massive, hundreds of thousands of people and stuff, and so just having that vocal really project out would be cool. And then I think the biggest, you know, I don't want to say issue, but thing that I would mention in this track is that, the hardstyle kick is the most important part of any hardstyle track. It is what it is. So yours kind of sounds like two different sounds. It's got the high frequency, that like plucky top part of it, and then a sub. And that's normal. A lot of times in hardstyle, you do layer different pieces of a kick together, but they need to sound more as one. This one kind of sounds like you're missing that in between, and then also the sub sounds like it's like side chained, and the it like it ramps up in volume, and it just loses the impact of it. And I think that the goal here was to do that so that the top of the kick can play through. However, the top doesn't have any low end information, so you don't need to sidechain it to it. The sidechain is so that things that are playing the same frequency get out of the way of each other, whereas you don't want to have it pump, like a noticeable pump in your kick, which is, I guess, the sub. And so, yeah, I mean, I would do away with that sidechain, or at least significantly reduce it, because you want the top part of your kick and the sub part of your hardstyle kick to play at the same time and just bang. I mean, listen to some of your favorite, Headhunters or other hardstyle. That thing just hits immediately, and it's just like the biggest thing in the world. And so that, I think, is the biggest thing. Mix them better together. Maybe add another layer. If not, group them, the sub and the top of the kick, and add some like distortion. I like to use Sound Toys plugins. I mean, we've got Punchy Worm from WA Production. Add those on there and just mix them together, maybe a glue compressor, and get them to sound just as one sound. That would be my biggest tip for you, but nice work. Okay, Neski Overdose Virus Mafia remix. Virus Mafia is the artist, so let's check it out. I mean, that was amazing. I'm throwing you a like and a repost, man. That's wow. I have no idea what the original sounds like, but that was sick. I really don't even have many comments. I mean, there might be a couple things that you could improve in the mix, but I'm not even going to mention stuff. I mean, it that bangs. It's heavy. The sounds are awesome. The sound design is great. Everything is uh, panned well, super interesting, um, and that would just bang in a club. So um, great work, man. I don't have much else to say about that, but I definitely want to hear the original to see how it's different. But yeah, that was sick. So great job. Okay, uh, I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce that, but Ferric. We got some Mickey and Minnie Mouse here. I am very interested to see what this turns out to be. Let's check it out. Weird. I'm gonna refresh that, see if that works. It said there was an error playing. Huh. Oh, track is gone now. Okay, sorry. Um, okay. We got Neb Curium original mix. Wow, I love that. That's two totally different but amazing tracks in a row. That was awesome. I mean, I have literally nothing to say about it. The mix is perfect. The the progression's great. It's not repetitive. It keeps you engaged throughout the whole song, which isn't easy to do with a 6 minute song in this genre. You got to put in a lot of detail work and keep things interesting, and I really enjoyed that. So once you release that, definitely send it to me. I'd love to add that to my arsenal for sure. Nice job. Looking forward to hearing more from you sometime. Okay, Daniel V. Glow. All right, very cool. My biggest comments there would be that main, lower, I guess, bass, kind of a top bass thing that I think is on top of your sub sounds really good. I like how um, it cuts out and then comes back in and pauses. But the problem is that your other elements, I think there's a sub, maybe like piano or chords or something like that, don't. And so what I would do is make sure either adjust the tails of those sounds or go in, convert them to audio if they're still in MIDI, and then just delete anything that goes past the point where you're that like angry, crushed synthy bass is, because that those pauses are what's really gonna make this track bounce. That dun dun, and having those be like silent in between will be a big difference. And so you want everything that's playing those same notes to cut out at the same time. And so that would be a huge. I mean, that would just make it jump from an okay track to an awesome one. Other than that, just some mixed stuff. I mean, I think that vocal chop is cool, but I think maybe you could high pass it a bit. It's kind of got a lot of low end stuff. And just kind of doesn't sound like it's mixed into the track. It just kind of sounds like it's on top of the track. But yeah, I mean, that would be the main stuff. Just work on tightening things up. That's really it. It just needs to be tight and have it, just things cut off exactly at the right time and start at exactly the right time, and not have extra stuff dragging on tails and reverbs and stuff like that. So just work on that, but great job. All right, guys. So it's that time again. It's been a little over an hour. Sorry that I didn't get to everybody. I apologize every week for that. But unfortunately, there's only so many minutes in an hour. So for further feedback, please jump on our Discord channel. You can submit to the feedback for feedback channel, give somebody feedback, get some in return. And people will do that. That's a really great way to be engaged and keep communicating with other artists and producers in our channel, in our server. And I'll be looking forward to another week next time, another feedback session. So thanks for joining us, WA Production. This is Josh. I'll be back next Sunday at the same time. Bye.